Oh, and I wanted to state that I couldn't figure out this carryover basis. It's all on the carryover basis. Whether it's a carryover from wherever the Iliads got you from, because the Iliads were the people saving people. They were the only people making ships at that time. When King Matoi's son, James, went over to get his land and not be King Matoi's succession, right, of America. He went over and took his plumage in front of Caesar, and it was granted England, and took the one half of England. And that's why King James looks like a dark man, right? Because he was from here, right? Took his plumage there, and then as the Catholic Church intertwined into everything and made it, and took their evil religious form into white people, and forced a lot of things into whiteism, like took a lot of the great men that stood as a darker person, and they conformed their families into white people by lineage of who they mated with, and brought the form into white. And I don't mean those like everybody says, like the Caucasians. Well, the Caucasians were in Africa, buddy. I mean, you want to talk about Scottish people? There were white people other than the Caucasians on the earth, okay? There's 13 families, 13 roses. Everybody's guarded at Eden. When you enter Eden from the center and you go in, there's a rose for the 13 families that rode the way in. One in Eden, 4 on every corner. Don't think I knew that. Everyone got a rose with a thorn garden to protect their way in. That's why roses have thorns on them. They're such a beautiful flower, but I can't get to it because you aren't. Whatever. That's beside the point. But this is the carryover basis. You have to have a carryover basis or uses attached. Like I've heard a lot of dark men say the carryover basis. And a lot of southern people, the carryover basis. I can't find this anywhere. The carryover basis. But this is what the carryover basis is. Whether the Iliads from Massachusetts, the greatest shipbuilders that ever lived, or wherever you came from, you were on a carryover basis. And if you named it in carryover, uses attached. Uses attached. Uses attached. It tells you uses attached. But that's where the carryover basis comes from. And you have to know where, like there's a lot of guys, they'd be like, and that's based on the carryover basis. Well, if you don't have a carryover and your name restarts every freaking generation, then there's no carryover basis. There's no money that carries over. There's no account that carries over. There's no accounting for the next. It has to start again at 0. So there's no wealth. There's no basis of wealth. And people want to be rich and want all this shit, and you're doing it all wrong. Because the account closed at the end of the name. And you let the account close. Because you didn't rename it the same name. Dumb fuck. Sorry, you're not dumb fucks. I'm sorry. I didn't learn all this. Look, man, I didn't learn a lot of this. And I've always known Jesus was a black man. Not by reading the Bible, just by, dude, I can't even explain some of the things I've seen in my life and explain where things come from. But this is one thing I will tell you. It's all based on a carryover basis. And if you're not carrying over the carbon copy of yourself to the next, then what do you expect? You expect to be rich? You expect to have, oh, look, the account. No, it didn't carry over. Sorry. That name died. There's no carryover basis. You cannot partition things in front of you as well with no carryover basis. Because you don't know where you came from. You don't know. Because people don't keep good books and records and lineage lines. So now you can't even say, well, that accounts me in a different name. Sorry, do you have any proof of that? Because you would have had to write it in the Bible, and the Bible would have to be from back then. And you know what I'm saying? You have no carryover basis. So the account can't carry over, so it has to be closed. It has to start again. It has to every single time. You have to know your lineage and put it in front of you so the carryover basis can work. But you have to keep the lineage going, and you have to explain. If you explain one thing to your kids and you get it in their head and you go, keep listening, keep listening, keep listening. I totally understand why black women beat you. Dude, I hung around a dude Antone, and if I had said something wrong, she'd beat me with an umbrella. She was a crazy woman. She was an L. She was Felicia L. And I didn't understand what L meant except run like hell. I come this L, run like hell. But it's funny now, but you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening. Do that to your kids until you get them awake. If you cram one thing into the brain that has to repeat itself, 469. 469, if you don't know what 469 is, you need to look it up, because you should be teaching your children 469. They're symbols. They're not numbers. Numbers are written words. They are symbols. Symbols of a written word. If you have a symbol of a written word, what does that symbol purport to? Oh, let me think. 4. Oh my God, 4 could be towards a lizard. 6 and 9. What could 6 and 9 be? Oh, I don't know. 6 and 9 are the positive and negative forces or opposite polarities that spin around this place, which cause impasse and exhaust. And it causes collision and perpetuity in the world. And if you're not saying 469, remember 469, 469, 469. I mean, come on. 469. When you realize where 469 is in your family lineages, and where you go, oh my fucking God, 469. They're not numbers, they're symbols. They're symbols. They're not even symbols of numbers. They had to make the symbols because symbols are easier to keep in your SIM card. Like, we can't put much memory on your SIM card. We can remember a couple things. 469 maybe? Maybe like when you die and you leave and then you come back. Maybe 469.